Okay, so thank you all for coming to our May community call. If you have not attended one of these before, and I think there's at least maybe one or two new faces, we hold these calls every month. The topic changes. Sometimes we do kind of wide-ranging technical discussions for the whole community. Sometimes we have demos of interesting IIIF projects. We'll go over demos of new tools, things like that. They happen typically every month on the second Wednesday at this time. Before I hand it over to our speaker today, just a single announcement, which is that registration for our annual conference is going to close on Friday. If you don't know, our annual conference is happening June 2nd through 5th in Leeds, England at the University of Leeds. In addition to the conference days, which are the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, we also have a free showcase day on the 2nd. If you are in the UK or nearby and would like to come and see some cutting edge use cases of IIIF, I would encourage you to come on the 2nd. We just need you to register before Friday. Okay, and with that, I'm going to hand it over to our speaker, Rein de Brul from the Ghent Digital Humanities Group. He is presenting Artemis, and I have to read this part, Advanced Research Tools for Environmental Studies for Historical Maps of the Scheldt Valley. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Rein.
Thank you, Caitlin. I would have read it myself, but thank you for doing it anyway. I will share my screen so you can also read it instead of hearing it. Okay, I hope you can see it. Okay, perfect. So hi everyone, my name is Rein de Brul. I'm a historian working for the Ghent Center for Digital Humanities, which is a part of the Ghent University. And I am, I'm one of the members of the Artemis team, which is a team of mostly historians, but also computer scientists. I am the one looking out for the maps for the IIIF and the crowdsourcing. So that's my main expertise and my main function. So what is Artemis? Thank you, Caitlin. You have already read the full description. It's a lot. That's why I am going to go a bit deeper on it, what it is exactly. So Artemis is a research infrastructure project. It started last year, so in 2024, and it goes on for 4 years. It's a collaboration between the Ghent University and the University of Antwerp. And the main goal is to open up collections of historical maps. So a lot of historical maps have already been digitized, have already been scanned, and it's often very difficult for researchers, for people who are interested in these maps and doing some more in-depth research with these maps to work with them. So we want to not only present them and view them, but also use the data, so the text and the landscape features on the maps as data, so as research data. So we want to digitize it, but also link it. So there are a lot of existing data sets that have spatial components. So we want to use the text that is on the map. So the generated text to link these data sets to these toponyms, but also to landscape features. That's rather ambitious, I would say, if I say, also I say it myself, but we think it's rather ambitious. So we want to narrow it down a bit so it's doable. So our focus is mainly geographically, it is on the valley of the River Scheldt. So that's between Ghent and Antwerp. Not only because there are the two main institutions working on the project, but also because it's a rather unique tidal landscape. So you can't really see it on the image, but Antwerp is connected to the sea. There is water from the sea coming into the river. So the river connects to the sea, and it gives a rather unique ecosystem. And also this region changed a lot during the 19th and the 20th century due to industrialization. So it's a region that is an ideal case for a lot of different research. So not only historical research, but also biological research, environmental sciences, or spatial planning. So we also want to reflect this in the research programs we have. So the first is river management. So it's more biological, but also it has a historical and sociological component. The second one, wetland habitats, is more biological. And then we have historical maps in a digital age, which is more a infrastructure-based research program to see how we can create the infrastructure and make it reusable. And the last one is digital landscape reconstruction, which is also a bit bringing it all together into one viewer, into one research data set. So we want to create data, but we also want other people to be able to create data on their historical maps and on other regions in the Scheldt Valley. So we not only have a research component, we also have an infrastructure component. So the infrastructure we use has to be reusable. We want to publish it together with the data and together with historical and heritage collections on public platforms. So we want the data to be visible, we want the data to be reusable, and we want the infrastructure to be reusable. So our main sources are obviously maps. We are working with 4 map series. These map series are hosted by different institutions, and they have, as you can see on the slide, a bit of other characteristics. So it's rather difficult for a researcher on his own to get to work with these different data sets from different institutions. So that's where IIIF obviously comes in and becomes very attractive. So how do we use IIIF? This is the overall workflow of the project. This is created before the project, so it has been altered a bit. We are currently in the early stages of the project, so we are currently in the first sources and data and the second processing and enrichment, but we are also thinking about the next steps, but my main focus will be on the first 2. So as I already said, the historical maps we're using are available in very different formats, which makes it a bit difficult to use them. And we want to have a sustainable access to these data sets or to these maps. And a rather easy answer would be put it all in IIIF, but it's not that easy for us because we are not a managing institution, so we don't have our own collections. We are working with collections of other institutions, and 2 of the map series are already available via a WMTS service. So we can't really convert them to IIIF. We could, but then we would have to host it ourselves indefinitely, and that is not our task. So it's a bit of a pragmatical approach. We have split our collection into 2 parts. So one part is the WMTS, which we use without IIIF conversion because they are already reusable via the web and they are already georeferenced. And we have a sustainable link with the administrator, which is he opened in this case. But other map series, mainly the cadastral maps, are not available on the web and are not available via a service. So that is where IIIF comes in for us. We have our own IIIF infrastructure via the Claria VL Plus project. So we can host these collections ourselves, and we do this because we want to facilitate collaborative georeferencing, but also presentation and reuse of these maps. But we don't do this without thinking to the future. So we want in the future, we want to transfer these data also to IIIF manifests to the collection holding institutions. So we have started talks with the collection holding institutions to get an understanding or get some common ground on how to do this in the future. So the project is a bit of an experiment with how can we use non-IIIF images, how can we use IIIF images, and it's also a way to show these rather big institutions. You can see it on the so the two first are hosted by the Royal Library of Belgium. Then we have the National Archives and the National Geographic Institute. So those are all federal institutions, which is something very Belgian, but they have other budgets and other other goals than Flemish institutions. So we use this project and to show them how IIIF can help them enrich their collections, and we hope they will be they will use it in the future. So we already have the National Archives who are interested and who are building a IIIF infrastructure. So there we can we can say we can transfer. The National Geographical Institute is still another case. So some of the maps that are not already georeferenced, we obviously want to georeference them to make them more attractive and easier to present. And that's where Allmaps comes in for us. So we want to use volunteers. So we tried via the funds of Artemis to make or invest in Allmaps editor to make it more user-friendly. So we have some functionalities listed on the slide that we funded through Artemis to increase the usability of it. So we can set up projects for different types of volunteers. So not only experts in georeference of GIS software or GIS software, but also just people who are interested in maps and who want to help us. So it's not only outsourcing or collections, it's also a way to broaden the knowledge of people who have not heard of IIIF or have not heard of Allmaps to work with it themselves for their own collections, or if they want to use the collections of an institution that supports IIIF. Also to test the usability of Allmaps, and just to get the public in contact with historical maps, so with the actual files of the historical maps. And our first idea was to manage this through the Allmaps curator, so mainly online, which is still something we're playing with, but it's not there yet, and it will probably be a bit more difficult than we thought. Maybe Bert, who is in this call, can elaborate on this later. But we also experimented with other ways to manage this process, and we found it really interesting to organize mapathons, because crowdsourcing is often a work of people, and people who are interested in the same often connect to each other. So we invited some volunteers for a mapathon in Bruges. You can see it on the picture. The map is in the upper left corner. So it was this map we georeferenced using Allmaps. So a lot of people, we did it 2 days, and 50 people came to it. So they all worked with Allmaps, and it was a really interesting experience because they helped each other, but also we could have some interactions between the users and the experts, which made it a lot easier to explain how Allmaps worked, explain how georeferencing works, easier also to manage which parts of the map were already georeferenced, and a more concrete result. So you could really see people working with it, playing with it, really enjoying it. So it was a really interesting experience, and we want to do it more for the Artemis project. So IIIF and Allmaps really makes this possible because there is no need for a specialized knowledge or software. Everyone can just join, and they don't need a special computer, or they don't need special software. They don't need a long explanation on how GIS software works. Just a short introduction was enough for them to start georeferencing. And it's also very easy for us because we can reuse the results. They are published as open data. We don't need to download them all. Also, the participants, they can just reuse it if they want without needing to download them all. So we will present these map sheets on a public platform if once we're done using Allmaps plugins. So it's really a very efficient workflow for us. And we will also use the masks that were drawn on the maps to train a segmentation model, which is also possible. Then the next thing we are a bit simultaneously are doing now is trying to detect the text on the maps. So we have the Ferraris map and the Van der Maalen map, which are not IIIF, so they are in WMTS. And for this, we used the map reader pipeline. So it's also something I think is already has already been talked about during a community call. So we implemented it for text spotting. The first results were interesting. They were good, but a lot of mistakes were made specific to the map series. So abbreviations were not recognized. So we thought we could do better. So we started training the model using a manual ground truth annotations. We used Label Studio for this. You can see the interface on the slide. So it's a rather easy tool, also open source. You can use for any collection. So we used patches we created ourselves to make it a bit more doable for volunteers to do it. Because if you want to do the whole map, it would be very great, very large work to do on your own. So the results now we have already trained on this, and the results are better, but there is still room for improvement. So we're looking at the IIIF results from 2025. Maybe we can use their results, use their new models to make this text spotting more performant. For the cadastral maps, we also started annotating, but this is a bit of another situation because we don't only need the text on the maps, we also want the parcels, which is a lot more complex. But these maps are in IIIF, so we try to create an environment where we could do this, do both things, so annotate the text and the cadastral parcels via IIIF, but we stumbled upon some difficulties. I will go into it later, but we have also used Label Studio for this because we needed to make some links between the annotations. So on the maps, you can see it because it's rather small, but on the parcels, there are little numbers linking to a table with additional information. And these numbers needed to be annotated on their own, but they must be linked to the parcel boundaries. So that needed to be done, and that was not functionality that was already available in the environment that we used. And we also needed a format that was fit for machine learning, which was also something that Label Studio was really good at. So we are on a point that we have the intention to train a map text pipeline and also experiment with it and see if it's good for these types of maps, because these types are more complex, or we need to train another type of model, a YOLO model, to spot the parcels and the parcel text. So that's where we are now, but we are already thinking about how to validate these outputs, because there will be a need for manual validation, and we are searching for something where you can link or have a direct link between the image and the output, because it's easier for volunteers if they directly see the annotation on the image, and we also need clear and manageable tasks. So this is still something we are searching for at this moment. And then to wrap up where we are now, we have also started with the feature detection, which is still more complex than the text detection. So because this is a research project, we have a lot of different researchers from different teams, so historians, but also biologists, spatial planning, and so on. So we started to brainstorm with them what they need. So which features do we want to extract, because we don't want to start from the data and try to extract them all, because it's sometimes not so interesting to have a whole lot of data without any real questions for the data. So we wanted to start from the questions and create semantic classes with the researchers themselves, and also try to determine the level of detail, because that will the model is really dependent on which level of data. We can use a MapReader pipeline, but MapReader works with patches, so it really divides the map into different smaller patches, and then you can say, oh, if is there maybe water on it, yes or no, but that's not so detailed. And for some of the questions, we might need a more detailed approach, so a vector approach. So the model really depends on the level of detail. So that's where we are now. We still we are using IIIF for a lot of components in our workflow, but we want to use it or want to make sure we use the full potential. So that's why I wanted to use this community call also for some unanswered questions. And I think we are not the only ones with these questions. I read a paper and I saw the IIIF Maps community group already was asking the same questions in 2021 about the need for a usable geographical interface with IIIF collections upload and management, also georeferencing. I think Allmaps is already doing this really good, but there is also the need for annotation, for free web training of neural models, automatic factorization. So it's a lot, but we struggle with these questions ourselves also. So for us, it's at this stage, annotation and validation is a point that we are really struggling with, because at the start of the project, we just thought, well, we have already used Madoc for a lot of projects with IIIF, so we will do it again. But I'm sorry, for those who don't know what Madoc is. Madoc is a IIIF-based crowdsourcing environment in which you can create projects, and you can make your own data model. So volunteers can annotate images based on this data model. So we have already used this for images of postcards of the city of Ghent, and this worked really well. But we saw that for this map collections, we had some difficulties. So first of all, not all the maps were in IIIF, which made us ask our own questions about, should we temporarily host these files, or how do we do this? And then we came up with the idea to host it temporarily, but ask the institutions for a long-term view to work also with IIIF. But there are also some UI elements that are missing for map annotation. So I already talked about the quick linking of annotation. So if you annotate a toponym, it's often or sometimes made up of different words, but these words have to be linked to one another for the model to know that this is one toponym. So that was a really crucial one we didn't have in Madoc. And there is also the quick tagging, because we are working with landscape features, so we want to be able to work with some quick ways to tag them, and not a really elaborate data model to for a volunteer to fill in themselves. And the last one is the output format for the machine learning. So that's why we chose for the Label Studio, because it's something the computer scientists we work with already used for machine learning purposes. So we are still looking for hybrid IIIF tools with extensive features for map annotation, but also for validation. So we are Madoc can be interesting for the validation. We're still examining it, but if anyone here can bring up some other tools or have already worked with other tools, I am very interested in hearing what you have to say. And another problem or more of a some questions that we are working with is the publication and the presentation. So we want to make it as usable as we can. So we will publish in different kind of formats. We have the research data, which will obviously be open to all researchers on Zenodo, but we also want to go a bit further than a raw data set. So there is some linked data component to the project. We are working with the Belgian Historical Gazetteer, another project which aims to create a tool, a data set to disambiguate toponyms for the Belgian territory. So you have an image with all toponyms on maps. So they are really gathering all these annotations, gathering all these place names for their data set to make it available to link to it, so everyone links to the same type of name, the same type of place. So that's something we really want to work further on it, because it's we think very important for researchers to be able to link their maybe already existing data sets with spatial components to this Belgian Historical Gazetteer. And there's also the exploratory data on Scheldt Mapped, which is our temporary name right now. It's some WebGIS platform we already built, Gantt Mapped. It's more of a heritage platform where you can browse through heritage collections of the Gantt institutions, but we want to use the same type of GIS environment to make our data available. But then we have, we stumble upon some other questions, like how do we maintain a sustainable link between map collections and the generated data? So are there standards, or do there need to be standards for map text data as IIIF annotations so they can be easily searched through with the other APIs, or should we publish in another format and link to it via the IIIF manifests? That's something we have not decided upon yet, and we are very interested to hear what you think about it, or if you have used something like similar. Same goes for landscape feature data. We are also thinking about publishing and presenting them as IIIF annotations, but is it searchable? Is it can we link enough properties to it, and so on? So that's something we still are working with. And then I come to my last slide. If you have questions for us, but maybe if you want to go back to something for the Q&A, please tell me, and we'll go back to the slide you have feedback on or you have questions about.
Okay, so for the Q&A portion, if you, we're not a huge group today, so if you just want to unmute and ask your question, that's totally fine. If you would rather not, you can paste it in the chat and then I will ask it for you. But does anyone want to kick us off?
Yeah, I've got a question about the investments of Artemis into Allmaps. Will those functionalities become open source, or are they already available within Allmaps? Maybe also a question for Bert.
Yeah, I think Bert can answer it better than I do, but I can assure you that they are available for everyone to use. So Bert, if you want to elaborate.
Yeah, Rijn is right. Answer is yes. When they're finished, they'll be available for everybody.
Nice.
I think so. This is maybe more of a community management question, but Emma Stanford asked, how did you recruit 50 people for the Mapathon?
Well, we have a very active colleague in the Department of Archaeology who he organized some sort of tour around the region, the Bruce region, where he went to speak about his research. And some of the people he encountered during this tour, they came to the Mapathon, but we also asked for students in the Ghent University, but also the other universities, and we were very lucky because there were some students in spatial planning who had to make some sort of a portfolio, and they came to it because they were interested in georeferencing, and because they also, for their job or for the future job, they need to work with the cadastral plans, and they are interested in doing it themselves. And we also promised lunch, maybe also, so it was free, so they were very happy with this. Maybe also something I should add, the colleague who organized it, he asked for some sort of a fund from the Levental Map and Education Center, who are working with Allmaps and have had some resources to give to projects working with people and Allmaps. So he that way he could spend a little more on lunch or other types of things.
Other questions?
So maybe a question about, you said you're talking to a lot of organizations to transfer the IIIF manifest images. I'm not sure. And how are they responding to IIIF? And are you also talking about the georeference extension of IIIF?
Yeah, we talked to the state archives, so they already had some distant plans or distant future plans to work with IIIF. But they don't have a lot of resources to spend on it right now. So they wanted to see the potential of IIIF without having to set it up themselves fully. So that's where we came in we talked to them, and we told them we could see how their not georeferenced maps could be easily or without them needing to invest in it georeferenced through Allmaps, if put it into IIIF. So we had some sort of an agreement that we could use this collection. So the cadastral map collection is currently not available for public use, so for download. But we talked to them before the project, and they wanted to make it available during the project to see how it could work. And we have some good some good signs because they are really we are talking to them more technically now, so they are really interested in going further with it. And we are still a bit on difficulties on how we should adapt our manifests to their future manifests, which is not really a really easy point. But we have Bert and also Manuel, who also works for Allmaps, but also we work together with him to see how this could in Allmaps could be managed. So I think we are making progress into making these maps available. But it's with small steps.
Okay, any more questions? I'll wait just another minute.
In the meantime, I will show the project team. So this is the whole team, but this is the team working really on the collection right now. And we also have people from different departments at the Ghent University and the Antwerp University who are giving advice and are in some sort of a researchers consultancy board for us to know which data they need, how they're going to use it, how they want to publish it, and so on. So if you would have other questions in the future, you can always mail me on the just my email is just reen.debrulle@ugent.be. So it's really easy. Anyone from the UGent is just name.ugent.be.
Okay, I think everyone's staying quiet. So I want to first thank Rain for the presentation today. If you will be in Leeds, Rain will be there also, as will Bert. So there'll be lots of opportunities for extra map discussion. If any of your colleagues would have been interested in this presentation and didn't get to make it today, this is recorded and I'll share that publicly after. And with that, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.